Joined now by the man who broke this story on Wednesday, Brett McMurphy. And Brett, we've established a bit of the timeline as it relates to this story, but can you please take me through your timeline as it relates to the reporting from the story when it began over a week ago to now?
A couple of weeks ago at Big Ten Media Days, I found out that Zach Smith had been arrested back in Florida in 2009. I also obtained a police report from the Powell, Ohio Police Department in 2015. I reported that. 50 minutes later, Zach Smith was fired. Urban Meyer then, the next day, said he had no knowledge of the 2015 incident. He even asked why I would create such a story. We fast forward a couple days. I start following, actually trying to report the story more. I'm seeing where it's going to take me. I hit some dead ends. Ultimately, I was able to get a hold of Courtney Smith. I talked to her. I spent 3 days in Columbus. And after talking to her, I got documents, texts, emails, photos, and basically it showed that the entire coaching staff, the wives of the coaching staff, knew what had been going on. And in these text message conversations, it showed that Urban Meyer knew about this. Urban Meyer, however, had said the week before he had no knowledge of this. When I initially started reporting the story, I had no idea where it would take me. Certainly, I didn't think it would end up like this. But when Urban denied any knowledge of it at Big Ten Media Days on Tuesday, and then I had evidence that showed the contrary, then basically that's where we are now in Ohio State. I would say put them on administrative leave today, and now they have a decision to make if they will keep Urban Meyer or not as the head football coach.
All right, now Brett, when we're connecting dots here, and the idea that Shelly Meyer, Urban's wife, knew, and that Urban knew. Now, how you believe that? Because why?
Well, back in 2009, when Zach Smith was a graduate assistant at Florida, he was arrested for aggravated assault, battery on a pregnant female. That was his wife, obviously. At that time, Urban Meyer admitted that him and Shelly helped the couple through in counseling. So that happened in 2009. I saw dozens and dozens of text messages between Shelly Meyer and Courtney Smith where Shelly's saying, I'm scared of Zach. I'm worried about you. Have the police seen the pictures? Why don't they have a restraining order? It goes on and on and on and on. So on top of that, Courtney Smith said Shelly told her, I have to tell Urban. And Courtney said, tell Urban. So there's all this evidence. I do not have any direct evidence that Urban Meyer, any text messages from Urban Meyer that says he knew about it, but I have mounds of evidence that indicate that Urban Meyer would have known about this, basically because his relationship with his wife Shelly, who he discussed at Big Ten Media Days about how close they are. They share everything. He relies on her for everything. They've been married 29 years. I find it hard to believe that the same couple they counseled in 2009, she has evidence, she knows of domestic violence against this same woman in 2015, and they completely ignore it, and Urban has no knowledge.
I'm just curious because, again, as you point out, he's not been convicted of anything, and we will find out in time. I just don't know how much time this will take. And that leads me to my final question. Brett, we're talking about your reporting thus far, but you're a great college football reporter as it relates to the sport beyond just this. And I ask you your opinion in this case. We're a month away from Ohio State playing Oregon State to kick off the season in the shoe. Do you think Urban Meyer is their coach for that game? Is he their coach beyond now?
I don't think so. Scott. I think the fact that he lied about knowing about these investigations is one thing. Also, in his contract, there's a clause that states if he has any knowledge of Title IX violations, he's required to report those. He can be fired with cause for that. There's also possible Title IX issues with Urban. And also remember, Shelly Meyer is an employee of Ohio State. She works for the College of Nursing there. So there's possible Title IX issues with that. There's also, did they follow the school's sexual misconduct policy? If they knew about an incident involving a current employee being Zach Smith and they didn't report it. It doesn't matter that he wasn't arrested. If they knew about these allegations, it's their duty, it's the law that they have to report those and forward those. I think that will be what ends Urban Meyer's career at Ohio State.
Brett McMurphy, the man who broke the story that was the story of the day in the sports world. And Brett, I look forward to following your work in the fall on Stadium as you cover college football again. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Scott.